Hello and welcome to Core TV coverage of the sixth round of the 2015 Core Australian V8 Supercars season. My name is Adam Weller, and I'm joined today at the Nurburgring by Mr. Tom Chorley. Hello.
Hello there, Adam. Hello, everyone else, and hopefully we'll be in for as much excitement as we normally get today as we take a visit to the Nurburgring today.
Yes, the Nurburgring, of course, the site of many historic motor races, be it touring cars, single-seaters, sports cars, motorcycles, anything else in between. The Nurburgring has hosted them all very nicely indeed. Today we have Glenal's 81 on pole for the first race, which is going to get underway very shortly. He only beat Memto 89 to pole by less than a tenth of a second, but more crucially, those two drivers were almost 1.5 seconds clear of the rest of the field in qualification.
Yeah, so the cream rising to the crop there is it's a very technical circuit in Nurburgring. I've always found it very difficult to get a good setup around here, regardless of what I was driving. Understeer's my abiding memory of this place. So clearly Memto and Glenn know something the others don't for this race, and we'll see if it pays off for them in race one then.
Indeed, we've seen in past core events new winners in core championships at the Nurburgring. We saw it in WEC Season 2, a few other series as well. Will we see a new winner today? The front row's anything to go by, perhaps not, but we are about to get underway. Memto 89, thankfully, has kept his almost Dr. Pepper livery. It's Racing has a new livery as well. We're yet to see that one. We are just seconds away from action here at the Nurburgring. It's going to be an intense battle between the two Brits. Santu 929, It's Racing, and the rest of the field can all expect to be involved in this one as well. Bit of a hold-up, but we are finally underway. Glenhouse 81 smoking the tyres. It looks as if Memto might have got a slightly better start as all 9 cars charge to the first corner. Memto has the inside line, but Glenn did have the better start as it turns out, and gets the lead into the first corner. There is It's Racing with that, frankly, very striking green Ford Mustang. Very, very liney indeed. He has got past Santu 929. Santu 929 on the outside for turn 3. Don't think he's going to make it. Indeed, he does not, so he's lost his position to It's Racing in the early going. MTLA has also moved up the field, I believe 2 positions. And Evil Dragon, who I believe started in 5th position, is now down to 7th. But Santu seems to be the cork in the bottle here, because we already have a big train of cars behind him.
Yeah, I think he was thrown off kilter a bit when It's Racing through that rather garish looking Ford Mustang up the inside of him, and it's thrown him off a little bit, but he'll regroup now. I think he's regrouped already. He's going to probably come back towards It's Racing now. Yeah, it was a good start from Glenn.
Someone just had a bit of snap oversteer there. It was killing Heidi. Lots of drivers with new liveries today. We're going to have to get used to this.
Yes, I can see why people in Formula 1 got annoyed by constantly changing helmets. You can't really keep up with what's going on now, but I'm sure we'll get used to this rather quickly. Yeah, so it's very easy to get a lot of power oversteer coming out the bottom of the hairpin there, as you're leaning on the front end quite a lot through the first and middle part of the corner, and then it's very easy to light those tyres up trying to get the power down towards the Schumacher chicane, but no harm appears to have been done as Glenn given the curbs quite a wide berth there. Memto, the classic, launching it all over them there, which is technically the fastest way to get around there if you do risk throwing it at the scenery if you're perhaps a bit too vigorous with it there, but it seems to have served Memto quite nicely.
It does indeed. You could see him there gain a lot of time in that last sector just by being a bit more vigorous on his entry and approach through the final chicane, the Schumacher chicane. So we see there Ben Crowe in 9th, currently at the back of the field. He is in a Ford Mustang for Pride Tech Motorsports. He's traded in his BMW M3 V8 supercar. We now see him in a Ford Mustang. It remains to be seen whether that choice will help him throughout the remainder of his 2015 season campaign. As predicted, the top 2 seem to be getting away from the rest of the field, with It's Racing heading up the battle 3rd through 5th. Santu 929 and MTLA in hot pursuit with Killing Heidi and Evil Dragon also very close on track. It looks as though Evil Dragon might want to try and get past Killing Heidi here.
Yeah, so it's all Linus Stern, isn't it, from 3rd through to 8th, and yeah, the other two really have checked out quite early on, as we see Santu, good run there off the bottom hairpin.
Oh, we see smoke. A smoke screen always means something's happened. Not sure what's happened. It might just be Memto89 executing his line through the corners, because we've seen it happen before. He does kick up a lot of dust and also smoke from his tyres, as he often sets up the car to be very stiff.
Yeah, say it's quite easy to just touch the edge of the gravel trap coming through the Schumacher chicane as you're leaning on the front end quite a lot. You can get a lot of understeer through there, as it's a bit marginal sometimes whether it's flat out or not, and I suspect in these V8 supercars it will be very marginal. So that's probably what it was there. As you see, no major damage done, both of them still quite comfortably ahead. Santu lining up its racing here. Don't think the Lexus has quite got the grunt as it's a challenge down the straight, but we'll see if I'm going to be proved wrong as we move away from here to MTLA now. Bit of a lonely 5th position at the moment. It's not really latched onto the back of Santu yet. Equally, he's put a bit of a gap between himself and Killing Heidi, so things fairly static at the moment. As well,
that was a very interesting camera shot there. Ben Crowe not only walking on sunshine but floating on air at the Nurburgring. Fortunately, the game has regained its bearings and now shows us that he is indeed on tarmac. We go back to the head of the field. Memto89, he's holding station behind Glenhouse 81. It's almost as though Glenn is pulling out a gap on the first 2 sectors, and then Memto, with his aggressive line through the final chicane, manages to gain a little more time back, and it's just kind of creating a stagnation effect.
Yes, it's very tricky, as I mentioned earlier, to get a good setup for the Nürburgring, as I has found, because you need a stiff setup for all the high speed stuff. You need very pointy on the nose for all the slow speed first sector, doing that sort of omega shaped section, but then you need something quite soft and compliant to throw it over the curbs at the final chicane. So it's a real difficult job getting it set up to cope with everything. It's often a compromise, and clearly Glenn and Memto have found the best compromise for their cars. The others haven't quite got it yet, but we'll see if they can turn that around in the later races. I say it's racing. Speaking of garish liveries, I noticed Memto has retained his cherry red livery from Brands Hatch. He has not reverted back to his old I can't remember what it was now. Was it white or grey or
white
something?
With garish orange rims, and I'm very happy to see that he has the fan favourite cherry red, almost Dr. Pepper-esque livery. Dr. Pepper should really send my check in the post. It's twice already in 4 laps. But Memto89 is definitely paying attention to the feedback of the fans and also some fellow drivers. I know after Brands Hatch round, he had a few visitors just saying, you know what, that's just so much better. Please keep it. And indeed he has. Glenhouse 81, though, will not be happy to see the red Camaro in his wing mirrors, purely because that means there's a threat to his lead. And it does look as though Memto89 is a fraction closer on this lap. Looks like he might be lining up for an overtaking manoeuvre in the near future.
Yes, we saw him running wide going on the exit of turn 2 there, and it'd be debatable whether he gained an advantage or not, because of course that first sector is, it's almost a car park, isn't it? There's no gravel to detain anyone if they run off the track, so he could have gained an advantage from that, but we'll remain to see what happens later on in this race. He's dropped back a little bit from Glenn now as they've negotiated a Schumacher chicane. We'll get to the end of the lap though, where he is more adventurous than Glenn has been so far, and we'll see if he can launch it over those curbs one more time and line up an attack into the final corner or the first corner again. I noticed as we've panned across the second group a few minutes ago that there's a fair few people who are giving those curbs a bit of a wide berth, so perhaps people have compromised their setup a bit too much, and the answer is, oh yeah, we can see Memto taking a big chunk out of Glenn there flashing his lights as well just to let him know he's right behind now, forcing Glenn to take the inside line into the final corner, which will compromise him slightly as we come down the pit straight. In fact, it's compromised him already on the exit there. So it's Memento looking to get a run down on Glenn into turn 1, and Glenn's only just gone defensive, hasn't he? But he's stuck it in the middle of the road actually. Which way is he going to force Memento to go? Down the outside. Can Memento do it on the brakes? I don't think he's going to get pushed wide, isn't he? No, Glenn gives him a bit of room actually. This could give him the line into 2. I think it has. Glenn really didn't cover as he should there, and the net result is, once they come to shot, it is Memento who is taking the lead of this one.
Memento 89 in the lead. MTLA dropping through the field. Looks as though he has some form of damage as he's gone into the pit lane on lap 5 of a 10-lap race, so there would not be a pit stop in a normal situation. But Memento 89 making it stick. Basically half a lap's worth of battling there, maybe a third. But either way, that was a brilliant move by Memento 89. Good on Glenhouse 81, just to give him a bit of racing room. But Glenhouse isn't going to let this win slip through his fingers just like that.
Yeah, we called it, didn't we? The more aggressive line from Memento through the final chicane really did set him up quite nicely for that one. And then Glenn went a bit middle of the road, going down towards the first corner, didn't really cover it properly, and then he could have forced Memento wide at T1, chose not to, sort of compromised his own line really, which is what allowed Memento to run it around the outside of T1 to give him the inside then into that second corner. And although we couldn't see the shot, I doubt Memento was as kind to Glenn as Glenn was to him there, and thought he did force him wide, as he should do, just to really punish the Mercedes driver there. But we'll see now what line they take. Oh, this time it's Memento who's run a bit wide there, and Glenn taking a bit more to the curves, but as we see once again drops back a bit. So Glenn will probably look to study that now, see what he's doing wrong in comparison. As it's a lot of tail out action into the first part of that chicane there. So yeah, everyone else has been a bit cautious as well there. So I'm surprised more people haven't cottoned on to taking the more aggressive line that Memento has adopted there.
No, yeah, he's being very aggressive at that corner. He does seem to be the only one braving it. As you've said, it's very easy to push beyond the limits there, particularly in some other games as well. Gran Turismo, if anything, is more forgiving than some other racing games in terms of that last chicane and just how slippery the curbs can be. But Memento 89 is getting away from Glenel's, no question. Glenn really has to pull something out of the bag to get this win back, because with 5 and a bit laps gone on lap 6 of the race, it doesn't look as though Glenn is going to be able to regain the upper hand.
Yeah, both of them that time ran it wide coming out of turn 2, so perhaps there is a small advantage to be gained from people doing that if we've seen them consistently doing it now. It could just be they're both pushing hard and there is no advantage to be gained, but we'll have to keep an eye on that one, as Evil Dragon is battling away with Optimus Prime, is he not there? As the two teammates there in those identical liveried Lexuses having a spirited battle for what will be 5th place now, I suspect, as MTLA and Ben Crowe at the back of the field in the Mustangs. The early season form we saw from those Mustangs has really fallen away, hasn't it, as its racing can't keep up with the leading Mercedes and Camaro, and then the other two are floundered by issues. They're running away at the back.
Yeah, it's really become a very spread out field very early on. I was expecting a very bunched up field for this one, so it's gone a bit above my head in terms of the character of this race so far. However, it does look as though Evil Dragon is going to make a move on Optimus Prime. That would be very brave there. Tucks himself back in behind the identical Lexus. That was a smart move.
Yeah, both of them taking the aggressive line over the curbs there, so they've perhaps cottoned onto that as well. And we had a soundbite from Memento earlier where he mentioned that the Camaro might not be the ultimate one-lap car, so perhaps not troubling pole position quite as often as he should do, but he says it can hold on to its tyres a lot better, which is why he comes good towards the end of the races, as we've seen so far in this one, having taken the lead halfway through and steadily pulling away from Glenn. So the Camaro's secret weapon there has come good, as we see Evil Dragon running it wide at turn 2. So That's the third or fourth person we've seen do that, so there probably is an advantage to be gained if they're all doing it now. So, and of course the notorious running it wide out of turn 4 there. Is that 4? Yeah, right. Yes, it is turn 4. I was confusing myself in the Omega shape there, but we often see people running it wide there. So there's an escape road leading back to turn 1, which we've seen people use for many, many years, and I think is a legitimate place to run it wide, as there's no major advantage to be gained, as if you run it too wide, you're clipping the gravel on your way back across, and that will compromise. And so we'll have to see what the stewards say afterwards, as I'm sure there'll be a few people bemoaning running over track limits, but we'll see what comes at the end of this. As let's have a look at the timings going here. Interesting is Glenn is set at the fastest lap at the moment, back on doesn't tell us when that is, but the times have dropped off quite a bit, as we can see, or in Glenn's case in particular, dropping off by almost 2 seconds compared to his fastest lap recently. Everyone else in the 2 minutes. Memso and everyone is still solidly under the 122nd bracket. We appear to have lost my companion there, so we shall bravely plough on as we are. And Memso still quite serenely leading this end from Glenn, who doesn't appear to have an answer now for the cherry red Camaro. It's racing, holding that lonely third, although Santu, we appear to have lost Santu. I can't believe we haven't noticed that at some point, but we've lost the Indian driver. Oh, hello, my comrade appears to be back.
Yeah, it was quite simple, really. The off button was on the microphone. Santu 99's been missing, I think, since the second lap. I was trying to figure out who was missing. I couldn't get to the bottom of it, but you just have Santu 99, who is, let's face it, a solid contender for the top 5 in the championship, so he can't afford to be not finishing these races, so he's going to be bemoaning his own internet connection there.
Well, our apologies to the Indian driver for taking 6 laps to notice that he's vanished from there. As I suddenly looked behind and noticed that it's Killing Heidi who's the nearest companion to It's Racing there, and the other Mercedes that I quite like that sunburn colour there of the Mercedes, better than the normal black liveries and whites and silvers we see them running. So perhaps change is good here. Although I'm still not entirely convinced on that green livery for the Mustang. It just makes it look like a lizard.
To be honest, I think it's an homage to Mint GTR, which would be It's Racing's Green Hell Heathens teammate. So he's painted his car mint in honour of Mint.
Makes some sort of sense. Doesn't mean it's aesthetically pleasing to the rest of us, but hey ho, we'll.
So what do you make of a gunmetal Lexus then?
The gunmetal Lexus I do like, but it blends into the guardrails, doesn't it there? So if either of those two end up rubbing up against the barriers, we'll probably lose sight of it until they ventured back on some grass at the moment. But at the moment, both seem to be doing a reasonable job, don't they?
Yeah, they are doing very reasonable jobs. So we have Ford Mustangs that are reminiscent of lizards, we have Lexus playing chameleons, and we have Memso 89 playing the hare, getting away from the rest of the field with under 2 laps left to run. It does look as though he's got this one in the bag. I'd like to know what happened to MTLA. Obviously on the second lap he had that pit stop, obviously with damage. I wonder if Santu 99's car took him out during the disconnect.
It's possible. We were too enthralled at the time, weren't we, in the fight for the lead between Memso and Glenn, unspotted that MTLA was in any sort of trouble. So we'll have to wait until we get word from Core HQ as to what happened to the Australian there. But clearly it's had a big impact on his race, and certainly some negative championship implications in there, as well, as he was the one fighting away with Glenn, wasn't he, towards the top end of the table. So it's not going to do him any good at all if Glenn's running up in P2 and he's mired at the moment in P7 with a sizable gap between himself and Evil Dragon, with very little chance at the moment, barring an incident, of closing that down in the last lap and a half we've got to go. Memso hasn't shaken off Glenn completely yet. Glenn's still sort of hanging on in there, isn't he? But you have to say Memso looks in control of this place. This isn't a Brands Hatch of Silverstone for him, so there's always a good form around here. See See, that was perhaps a bit too much curb taking there. He had at times all four wheels inside of the white line there, but as long as he's not doing it too often, then he should get away with that one, which I'm sure Glenn will probably be bemoaning at the end of this race that he was taking certain liberties with those curbs there, but for most of the time he's been okay, hasn't he? He's had at least two wheels on the grey stuff most of the time, so he should be okay on that one, but certainly Memto pushing the limits here, but that's what you got to do to win, isn't it?
Yeah, I imagine that the Scotsman in second position is probably texting the steward on this last lap, maybe even taking photo evidence, because, I mean, that's what camera phones have done to society. You will get caught because someone will have a camera on you. It remains to be seen whether Glenelg's 81 had one. Of course, we have one, so if the stewards look back through this footage, they might be able to judge for themselves whether or not Memto 89 is in the wrong. But all stewards' decisions aside, he has dominated this race. Glenelg's 81 there, taking the swinging, drifting line around turn 6. So that was impressive, perhaps just putting on a bit of a show for the crowd, knowing that he can't get hold of Memto on this last lap. But Memto 89 definitely providing a demonstration of how to win an Australian V8 Supercars race, how to win a touring car race in general. Make your way past and then make sure you're not within striking distance. So that is definitely the strategy in races like this. You see a lick of flame there as he changes down into third gear to go around and past where we usually start VLN races. Long-term fans of Crowe will know that the VLN series, the precursor to the N24, starts under that gantry that we just went past about 10 seconds ago. He hops over the curves for the last time, about to go into the last corner in his Cherry Coke Camaro, going around the corner formerly known as the Coca-Cola Curve, and goes towards the start and finish line. I knew he'd start flashing his lights because he has taken the first win of the day in round 6 of the Core Australian V8 Supercars at the Nurburgring. Glenelg's 81 held on to second position. It's racing in the Mustang. Will cross the line for third, but not by much. Killing Heidi in a close 4th place.
Yeah, good drive from Killing Heidi there. We've often seen Killing Heidi mired in a lot of incidents, but that was a very clean, very mature drive there from Heidi, and it's good to see that one as Optimus and Evil Dragon still relatively close together. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that not Memto's first win since Laguna Seca for quite a while ago now, isn't it?
Ooh, I think you might actually be right there, yes.
He had a torrid time at Brands Hatch, didn't he? And then he missed out on Silverstone altogether. So, yeah, it's a confirmation from Core HQ. Yeah, the first win for Memto since Laguna Seca. So it's been a while off the winner's rostrum for him, but I'm sure he'll be looking to capitalise on this good form he's got at the Nürburgring then.
Indeed he will, and we've only got one car left across the line. That is Ben Crowe. Remains to be seen whether or not Santu 929 will be able to rejoin the room for race 2. I don't think he will. Past evidence suggests that he will not be back for the last 2 races of the day, so that's very unfortunate for him. Ben Crowe cruising to finish his race in the number 15 Ford Mustang. From what we've heard, he's much more comfortable behind the wheel of the big American brute, so hopefully we can see him become a genuine contender for year's end.
Yeah, that would be good to see, and he's certainly had a relatively clean race in this Mustang, so obviously he was not getting on at all well with his previous steed, and yeah, things starting to look up finally then for Ben.
Indeed, and there's Memto 89 cruising back to the paddock. We're about to get underway with the second race of the day. That'll be in just a few moments' time. But for now, Memto 89 with a commanding race win once he got past Glenelg's 81. There was no looking back, and knowing the Scotsman as both a fan, commentator, and a competitor, I don't think we're going to see him take this one on the laurels. He's going to do all he can to claim the win in race 2.
Yeah, say Glenn will be there as per usual though to see if he can capitalise on the form he's shown in previous races. And as we've seen, perhaps the Mustangs can tweak something they've got to bring themselves back into the fighters. We haven't seen them look competitive at all, have we, since Monza, really? So they've really been reined in, haven't they? And they'll be kicking themselves. They didn't take advantage fully during those first couple of races where they had a distinct advantage, and it's all gotten away from them now, really, hasn't it?
It has. All the cars are capable of the same lap times in pretty much every track available. Of course, some cars have distinct advantages at other circuits, but at Brands Hatch, Ford won all 3 races, of course.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry,
with, It's Racing.
That.
Yeah, It's Racing with a clean sweep that weekend. One of the more impressive performances of the season. Starting in 3rd place for the second one, will we see another impressive performance from the Australian driver? It remains to be seen. He has to find a bit more pace if he wants to be on par with the 2 Brits from England and Scotland respectively. But we are about to get underway here. Memto 89 on the pole once again. Looks as though we have a bit of a long load here. It's a bit difficult to sometimes with the internet connections just to get everything back in shape. And Santi99 has rejoined as well, so we've got an extra driver. We are underway. Memto 89 with a very good start. He's got a clear lead going in to the first corner. It'd be very surprising if anyone can launch it up the inside to take the lead. Indeed, no one does. There's a bit of action in the background, though. There's been contact. Santu99 involved. Killing Heidi involved. I think Optimus Prime as well. Santu looks to have damage. I hope he manages to get back to the pit lane, but he's already having a tough time in his second race of the day. Not sure what's going on here. There's all kinds of action. There's all kinds of dust and dirt being thrown up. But the long and short of it is Optimus Prime has 3rd place from MTLA, Killing Heidi and Evil Dragon. That looks as though that could change at any given turn. MTLA going off track. Evil Dragon around the outside. Oh, and MTLA. Too much power. Halfway around the corner. Too much power applied too soon. Lost some positions there. These two, Glenhouse 81 and Memto 89, will be very happy to be out of that situation. But yes, Glenhouse 81 has indeed taken the lead. Only 25% of the way around the first lap, and Glenhouse has already struck Memto 89. So it remains to be seen whether Memto will get past Glenhouse 81, but he has it all again. Yes, no, sorry, he has it all to do again.
Oh, Glen's gone off this time, though. Yes. Memto's taking advantage.
Memto's taken advantage, so everyone's having a bit of a dodgy first lap so far. I don't think I've seen anyone keep it clean so far during this lap, with the potential exception of Glenn until that mistake just happened. Will Glenn make a move around the chicane from the outside? I somehow doubt it. He does. I think he might have him here as we go into the final corner. Oh no, he doesn't have the run, so Memto 89 retains the lead for now. Glenhouse 81 extremely close to the back of that Chevrolet Camaro. Optimus Prime also reeling them in, as is Evil Dragon. What an incredible first lap as Killing Heidi goes into the pits, and Glenhouse 81 using the slipstream for a move into the Mercedes-Benz arena section of the track, and for Mercedes-Benz, he takes the lead. Can he make it stick though? Memto might still have the inside. No. Glenhouse 81 has the lead for the time being.
Well, that was all action first lap, wasn't it? I thought it was Killing Heidi we saw diving down the inside of T1 and taking out poor Santu. And then the two that have now pitted, so that appears to have been the case. And as we saw, that's a mistake from Memto, gave Glenn the initiative. Then a bit of contact between the two, gave it back to Memto. And then both of them very fair to each other around the final chicane. Made sure to give each other space, and that led to some good side-by-side action. But then, of course, we saw the run down into T1, giving Glenn the initiative, to which he has now managed to keep a hold of. And it's allowed Optimus Prime to join in on the party. So, yeah, it's all action so far. Oh, no contact from Paul HQ, so it's just a mistake from Glenn there that's allowed Memto back through. But, yeah, it looks like we've got ourselves another race to Laguna Seca, haven't we, where there's all action there as well.
Indeed we do. Race to Laguna Seca for fans of Formula 3 as well. This weekend in Monza we saw some rather terrifying racing at times. We're not quite on that level of madness, although that was a very spectacular opening lap with cars damaged, people limping back to the pit lane, and positions changing every time we went into a braking zone. But Glenelg's 81 seems to be building a small advantage over Memto at the moment. He took that position at turn 1, and since then over the course of the rest of the lap, he has really built a nice little gap to Memto 89. Optimus Prime still in third. From Evil Dragon and MTLA, It's Racing's fallen down to 6th position as well, so he definitely wasn't on the right end of the stick in that turn 1 massacre.
Yes, after all that turn 1, lap 1 action, it's strung out a bit already, isn't it, there, with some small gaps growing between each car. Be interesting to see if Glenn can hold off the Camaro this time round. And what, as we've got a poor start with from the Australian group, unfortunately, it's all dropped down now to the back end of the field, including Santos. Not a good start for those guys, but we'll see if they can regroup and have a crack at the lead later on in this race. But it looks as if Memto and Glenn have once again taken the initiative and broken away now a bit from Optimus. Let's see if we can get a splendid replay of that race 1 fight between the two. We've already had a good teaser, haven't we, with all that lap 1 action?
Yes, indeed. We definitely have had some very exciting stuff so far. Glenelg's 81 there on the curb, a little bit on the grass. He has to be careful in how he enters that corner. Memto 89 going a bit wide there, kicking up gravel himself. He remembers, I'm sure, WEC Season 2, the season finale at the Nurburgring. He was actually in an experimental LMP2 class car that day. He didn't have a very good time of things. He had contact with other LMPs, contact with barriers and curbs and GTE cars. So that was quite a day for Memto, but he's been better off so far today. Can he get the second win of the day? That remains to be seen, but Evil Dragon is looking to keep his 4th position from MTLA, who keeps on showing his nose to the Lexus driver. Statements of intent from the Pride TEC driver. He's now gone off on a straight. He's got to be very careful there. It's Racing up the inside. These two are teammates despite the different liveries, so they need to be careful. It's Racing in a high-vis jacket, so he wants to take safety precautions. He does not want his own teammate to take him off track, so maybe these two will work together to hurdle the Lexus driver. But It's Racing not working well with his throttle there. I think he applied the throttle too early and almost spun it.
I think he took far too much to the inside curve there into turn 1. He almost had all 4 wheels inside of that curve, and that is what then spun him round a bit on the exit there. We saw MCA getting caught out really with an early braking of Evil Dragon going into the last few corners of that lap, and it's what compromised him then on the exit of that chicane and put him onto the dirt, and he just scooped up in time before the final corner. He's regained the initiative now and is back on terms with Evil Dragon, but yeah, he's going to be a bit wary now of how early the Dragon's braking into some of these corners. It's clearly catching him out. Perhaps Evil Dragon not as confident as MTL is there in the Mustang, or perhaps the Lexus just has to brake earlier, but no harm majorly done, so we'll see if they can regroup and have another go at it.
Yes, indeed. So Optimus Prime, in the meantime, is taking 3rd position away and running with it. He seems to be building a very nice advantage to his own teammate and the Pride Tech boys who follow. But Glenelg's 81 still leads here, and it looks as though Memto 89 has got closer, so we may be on the verge of seeing another challenge for the lead out at the front.
I think we've got a graphic illustration there that perhaps Glenn is choosing not to launch his Mercedes over those curbs, as he just tried to do it into the first part of the chicane, and it spat him off towards the left quite violently, and that is what put Memto onto the back of him then, going in towards the last couple of corners. So I think it is by necessity that Glenn's not climbing all over those curbs. Mercedes just isn't set up to deal with it. It's not. He's probably got it quite stiffly sprung in that case, or the dampers aren't adjusted to suit his suspension settings as he's running it wide now, and again giving Memto a bit of an initiative, this time as they run down towards turn 5. F1 fans remember 2007 here when Massa and Alonso were battling for the lead in the wet, and we saw that fantastic move by Fernando around the outside into turn 5 to give him the inside line into this corner, turn 6, for which Felipe was not happy about, and they had a bit of a heated debate afterwards in Italian about the matter, to which a bemused Mark Webber could only look on and not understand what was being said, but I don't think he particularly cared at the time. I'm sure words would be had between these two as well under such circumstances, but in a more understandable dialect between the two of them of English. But no, it seems to be okay at the moment. It was lap 5 last time, wasn't it, where Memso got the lead from Glenn, so perhaps it's the time in the race where the Camaro has looked after its tyres a bit better and is starting to come into its own as Glenn's
curb hopping
smoking
there.
a bit, curb hopping, smoking tyres, the lots. Is that
it's
MCLA?
racing.
It's racing,
That was
has
a
he got a
prime
bit of damage
example
there?
of curb hopping. If anything, I think that's curb hopping going wrong, but as you say, it looks as though there may be some damage. So you've just got to hope that really there hasn't just been a Pride TEC inter-team ramming session, and if there has, I wouldn't want to be in the garage after that one. But Memto89 might have the inside line here going into the final corner. Indeed he does. I think we're going to see these two battling like this across the line on the final lap. They seem to be inseparable here. Glenhouse81 gets the position back with a little more grunt along the straight. But Memto89 challenging the Scotsman for all he's worth going deep into the first turn. Will that pay off for him? Because he almost had the inside line going into turn 2. This is incredible racing between the two drivers from the British Isles. It's Racing has gone into the pit lane, so clearly with some war wounds after what may well have been an altercation with his own teammate. Memto89 looking to do an outside around turn 5, as you mentioned. That move steeped in Formula 1 fans' memories after a very spectacular move in 2007. And Memto89, he definitely wants this second race win of the day, and Glenhouse81 is going to have to pull all of the veteran tricks out of the bag to stop him.
Yeah, once again, it was the chicane that compromised Glenn. Once again, this time, he just ran it too deep into the first part, didn't hook up the second part. Memto did, and gave him the run onto it, but it was a bit more wise down. The first corner's time round was Glenn. He lit it up a bit. I think Memto ran it a bit too wide as through the Coca-Cola curve. It's Memto crawling all over the back of the Mercedes once again. He's got the run down though towards Glenn's least favourite corner. I'll be surprised if he can do anything with it on the way in unless Glenn leaves the door wide open for him. Doesn't look close enough this time round, but once again, this will be a case of can Memto set it up as Glenn does run it deep once more. What's Memto going to do here? He's forced to go around the outside this time, but if he can hang it around there, is he always going to go for it here? Or at the very least set up down to the pit straight? No, he's braved it around the outside.
He's got a nose ahead as they cross the line for the 7th lap of the race. Memto89 has the lead, but will he be able to retain it going into the first corner? I think not. We need to see that battle for the lead again, because I believe Glenhouse81 has the inside, but he doesn't have enough of the inside clearly, because Memto89 still has the race lead here. We saw Optimus Prime and Evil Dragon very close to it together in the battle for third, but unfortunately the battle for the lead will take precedent here, purely because this is some of the most exciting racing we've seen so far this season.
Yeah, unfortunately the director cut away from the money shot there that we wanted to see, but we saw the outcome of it, which was Memto once again taking a lead from Glenn down at turn 1, and as we now join the battle for third place, it's Evil Dragon all over his teammate for P3 between the Lexus drivers. But yeah, Glenn once again, it's the latter part of the race, and he's perhaps nuked the tyres a bit too much on that Mercedes. Memto's looked after his a bit better, and it's given him that initiative to take away the lead once again from the Scotsman. It'll be interesting to see if it's going to be repeated last time and Glenn fades away a little, or if he can regroup and come back towards that cherry red Camaro.
He might just be able to do something, but evidence suggests that his tyres will be fading away now, as you said. And therefore, Memto89 is in the pound seats here. But Glenhouse 81 is drawing ever closer as we go into the chicane. He's not going to try an out-braking move there. He's smarter than that. Memto89 has out-braked himself a bit, though. That's going to give Glenhouse 81 a better run going into the Coca-Cola curve. Will he take the line and take the lead? Memto89 still has a nose ahead. I think he's done enough. Indeed he has. Memto89 has done enough to keep the lead for the time being. But Glenn is back in the slipstream under the wing of that Chevrolet Camaro. And it looks as if he's going to take the lead. He's got the inside line. He's on the other side of the pit line. He drifts into the corner and he takes the lead. For how long? For exactly one corner, because Memto89 has taken that lead back. This is an absolutely fantastic battle here at the Nurburgring. The fans are really getting a treat from this one.
Yeah, but Glenn, too kind on two occasions there. Into the last corner, he let Memto run it around the outside when he should have been forcing him towards the gravel. And then again down to turn one, hugging the inside far too much, compromising his own line and letting Memto once again run it around the outside, get into turn three. Memto, having none of it, does force Glenn to the outside. So Glenn is being too kind here. He's letting Memto get away with this one, and he needs to really be more aggressive in his defences here and his attacks to really get this lead back and sort of ward off Memto, because he's now going to be aware that he can run it around the outside of Glenn into these corners and he's not going to get shoved off the track. And that really is not a mentality you want to give another competitor, letting them know they can get away with this kind of move on you. So Glenn really needs to sort that out. As you can see, he's got the pace to do it, but he's just not got the aggressiveness here to sort out Memto, who, as we know, is pretty stoic in his defence and his attack here. So yeah, Glenn's got to sort that out, really.
He definitely has to. He's not quite as close to Memto89 on this approach to the final chicane, and Memto89 did not repeat his mistake under braking. So Glenhouse 81 does have it all to play for here in second position. Unfortunately, as you said, Memto89 knows now that Glenhouse 81 will, give this racing room, will respect Memto89. But maybe that's not a good thing, because that gives Memto the idea that you can push Glenn around and that you can expect him to give you racing room. And Glenhouse 81 really has to prove that he has a bit of the touring car muscles that many of the touring car drivers have, both in real life and on the virtual racetrack. He's very close to the back of that Camaro at the moment. Once again, right under the tall rear wing of the Chevrolet Camaro.
Yeah, try saying that when you're drunk. He's bucked the trend from race one, though. He's stuck with Memto here. Memto has not been able to shake him off this time round, and part of that is you can see Glenn being much more aggressive across those chicane curves this time round. So he's upped his aggressiveness in one area. It's his racecraft where he needs to sort it out as well. And we've seen Memto make a few mistakes up there this time as well, which is what has given Glenn the initiative to have a go a few times. So perhaps with a lap and a bit to go, it's not all over. It's a fight for third is still raging here between Evil Dragon and Optimus, and it's MTLA who's slowly clawed his way onto the back of the Lexus now. Let's see what the Mustang can do over the last lap and a half, as I've got a feeling things will start to get pretty dicey then on the last lap, as as long as you only pick up a bit of dust there on the Schumacher chicane, you're all right. It's as soon as you put two wheels onto it for a lengthy period of time that it's going to suck you in and heavily compromise you up the rest of the hill. But MCLA getting away with that one as it's racing onto the back of Killing Heidi now after their compromised situations earlier. Santu has not been able to make up much ground, unfortunately. Yeah, to see it there from It's Racing, just to too to the exit though.
That was a big moment there for It's Racing, chasing Killing Heidi, as you said, for 6th position. We wouldn't expect to see these two quite so far down the order, but circumstance has played out in that fashion. So they are battling for 6th. Meanwhile, Optimus Prime and Evil Dragon are battling for 3rd through 5th with MTLA 1984, who's really digging his Wolverine claws into the back of Evil Dragon.
Yeah, Evil Dragon having a look there.
And he's up the inside. That was a big move there. I think he might have outbroked himself there, but Evil Dragon has a bit of a compromised exit as well. But he does manage to keep 4th place, so Evil Dragon keeps 4th place. MTLA with a very brave braking move there into turn 1.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. In Australia, they came from miles back on that one. Clearly, Evil Dragon backed off a bit too much there to avoid hitting his teammate, and MTLA thought, I'll have a bit of that, mate, and nearly pulled it off. I thought he was going to cream right into him and cause some major carnage there, but no, both got away with it just about. And now it's Evil Dragon not so much concentrating on getting 3rd anymore, but defending his 4th place.
Yes, definitely. This is no longer inter-team battles, it's keeping MTLA at bay. MTLA up the inside again, but once again not able to take advantage. And I think that's the end of his campaign for 4th, picking up gravel on the exit of the Dunlop curve.
Yeah, I think Evil Dragon did what Glenn should have done a few times there, forcing him to the extremes of the attack. It might have been a bit aggressive there from Evil Dragon, but he's got a stoke defence going on as it's racing here. Having got King Heidi's lit it up on the exit there. That's not going to give It's Racing the initiative though. It's only a short run up to the Schumacher chicane. No braking here. He's got to follow him through and see if he can get him on the exit. And he has it. Can he do it on the brakes towards I forget which corner this is called now.
It's the Kumo curve. Meanwhile, as these two go off track here, Memso 89 has already taken the win. But It's Racing for 6th position here. They're all in each other's doors here. This is an incredible piece of action. We saw Killing Heidi showing It's Racing who's boss at the Kumo curve, shoving him out on to the runoff area. It's Racing up the inside. Banzai move. Withdraws at the last second. But now he has the run into the Coca-Cola curve. Will he be able to take 6th from Killing Heidi? It does look as though he's done it. Indeed, in the green Mustang. He's got 6th place, but Killing Heidi with another run. An incredible fight to the finish between It's Racing and Killing Heidi. It's Racing eventually taking that 6th position, but my God, action throughout the race in race 2.
Yeah, brilliant stuff there, and unseen to us, Evil Dragon taking 3rd place off Optimus Prime over the final few corners. So he did shift his focus from going defensive to attacking his teammate there. Just pulled it off. I didn't see what happened there, unfortunately. But yeah, great racing there between It's Racing and Killing Heidi. So fantastic stuff all the way through. Glenn couldn't quite pull it off there. You could argue that he should have, but no, it's Memso who pulled it off once again to take another brilliant victory there. And fantastic racing we've had this afternoon.
Yes, an incredible race. That'll make it in full to the season review, the end of season highlights package for sure. That was an incredible race. Best of core. That would definitely have its own little corner reserved for it, along with the races at Laguna Seca. What an incredible encounter that was. Memto 89 and Glenhouse 81 having a brilliant battle. Evil Dragon capitalising on Optimus Prime somewhere in the last lap, with MTLA challenging them throughout the last third of the race. And of course, Killing Heidi and It's Racing having their own incredible battle on the last lap. That was extremely intense. Hope you got your breath back, because we've got yet another core Australian V8 Supercars race at the Nurburgring. Any second now, we're going to get underway again. And deep breath, quick swig of the drink, and we will be underway again. The Chevrolet Camaro of Memto 89 looking to take 3 wins from 3. Can he pull it off? It remains to be seen.
Yeah, it'll be Glenn versus Memto, round 3. May I take the lead on this one, Adam, just to spice things up a little?
Yeah, of course.
Excellent. Right, cherry red Camaro, pole position. Black Mercedes in second place once again. Evil Dragon leading Optimus for third place. Can Memso repeat the start he did last time? He's launched it away. Bit of tyre smoke there. Can we see if Glenn is drawing alongside him? No, it all looks fairly static behind. We've got Evil Dragon and Optimus side by side though. At the back there, Killing Heidi looking to make his way through. But Memso looks to have got it all covered once again going down to turn 1. Optimus having to fend off. Oh, he's down the inside there. He's hit Glenn there quite badly. That was pretty naughty there from the Lexus driver. But that's allowed Memso to get away. Glenn almost certainly damaged by that into the air. He's down to 5th place. Now he's running it straight on there to turn 4. So, oh dear, that's bad. Oh, Glenn, he's ghosting there. That is not good to see there. Evil Dragon takes over 2nd place here. Yep, Glenn's dropped out the race, unfortunately. Now that's not what we wanted to see there, but an unfortunately optimistic move into turn 1 there has rather soured the fight we were looking forward to on this occasion, as now it's Optimus bullying his way past its racing there for 3rd position. The Australians are getting mugged here, left, right and centre.
Yes, they are, and look at that. We see MTLA almost making another one of his diving manoeuvres. In fact, he does. He executes it on Optimus Prime. Sam2929 says, thank you very much. Barges his way through as well. This is touring car racing, isn't it?
It certainly is. The Australians have suddenly gone on the mugging and have taken back the positions they were losing there. Yeah, I was so excited there. It was Optimus we saw, wasn't it, down into T1 who made the optimistic lunge, which then unfortunately cut across the grass completely and used poor Glenhouse as a brake, and that's ruined the fight we were looking forward to. As I say, Memto probably going to creep away now in the lead, but Evil Dragon's going to keep him in sight for as long as he can, as It's Racing has taken the man to the 3rd position and has got his teammate all over him here. So we're going to be seeing a Mustang fight for 3rd. No, as it's MCLA has been compromised on the exit of the chicane there. So It's Racing will be looking to get on terms now with the Lexus of Evil Dragon to see if they can launch an assault on that Camaro, which will have an easy time of things now. So yeah, it's all action the start of this race, but not quite what we wanted to see, unfortunately.
Definitely not what we wanted to see. I don't think Memto89 would have wanted to see that either. He likes to have a good battle for the lead, particularly with Glenhouse 81, historically 2 of the closest opponents in core online racing. Unfortunately, we have been robbed of a 3rd encounter between the 2 here at the Nurburgring. Remains to be seen whether anyone can get close to Memto89. For now, it looks to be 1st and then 2nd through 7th, really, because Memto89 has already built a big advantage. And now is this group, this crazy array of buzzing hornets, to quote a Jordan livery from the late 90s. But this array of buzzing, loud insects are going to be battling it out the 2nd through 7th. I believe, for the entirety of the race, and let's hope they don't knock too many chunks out of each other.
Well, we've seen a lot of contact already, and we think it's caused some extensive damage to a lot of people already. Optimus being one of them, yet he's managed to take 4th place off a very healthy Mustang of MTLA. So, as we've seen Memto getting... Oh, he's out of control!
Memto89 has had a spin! Oh my goodness me! That's a race-changing manoeuvre there. Who's that spinning?
Is it Santo? It's Killing Heidi as well, isn't it? It's gone off.
That's crazy. We've just seen 2 spins at the same corner within 10 seconds. For everybody rub your hands together, we now have the prospect of Memto89 battling his way through the field. We've seen that script before throughout 2015 in the Australian V8 Supercars Championship, haven't we?
We certainly have. This should be quite a spectacle to behold. Clearly, without the presence of Glenn to either chase or keep him occupied, he's let his mind wander in the lead there, and he's thrown it off the road. And Killing Heidi clearly thought, I'll have a piece of that as well, and went spinning in sympathy. So we've now got Evil Dragon taking the lead, the Lexus into the lead for the first time, with a slithering green Mustang chasing after him, and his teammate in between us. So it's an Australian in a Lexus sandwich there. The fight for the lead as MTLA has dropped back a little bit, as he's not at the moment. We'll have to wait and see as we get a big picture of what's going on there. So let's hope these guys can keep it clean from this point onwards, and we can see quite an enthralling battle for the lead develop here. But let's see what Memto can do first.
Yes, let's see what everyone can do here. This is a refreshing new perspective on a race at the Nurburgring. The order has been reshuffled. we have a core Australian V8 Supercars debutant in the lead. Evil Dragon, of course, in his first ever round of the core Australian V8 Supercars Championship, battling with It's Racing and his teammate Optimus Prime, who takes the inside line at Dunlop Curve and I think knocked It's Racing off into the gravel. He has knocked It's Racing off into the gravel. It looks as though the Lexus really struggles for traction through there, and the car just slides about and takes out It's Racing. I'm not sure how much intention was in that, but either way, It's Racing with suspension damage. It's Racing really not going to be a factor in this race any longer. One man who is still a factor is Mento89. He's getting a big smoke screen there. Santu99 ghosted there. I'm not sure just how legal that was, because ghosting the car, which is pausing, is not legal, and indeed I'm getting confirmation from 4HQ that is not an acceptable use of the pause button. If you're avoiding accidents, then you're not supposed to be doing that. That's not realistic. You can't make your car ghost in real life. Therefore, we keep the hammer down on that one, so Santi99 can expect some form of punishment later in the race. But Mento89 there, reaping the benefits of that one, because he would have heavy front-end damage if it wasn't for the ghosting.
Yeah, he'll be very glad of that one, as we see Optimus taking the lead off Evil Dragon here, down the inside as Dragon ran it wide in turn 2 there. As for the incident with It's Racing, it was incredibly naughty of Optimus there, as he taps the Mustang going into the corner, and once he nerfed It's Racing off the apex there, just shoved him off completely on the exit there. So I think the stewards will be having a look at that one afterwards, as it was unsporting to say the very least there from the American. Either way, he's in the lead at the moment, pursued by his teammate now. Can the other Mustang do something? And Mento is not that far off the lead now after those shenanigans, and say I'd be very glad that Santu decided to pause it as he's spinning there around. It may not be legal, but I'm sure he'll be glad he did it, otherwise this race would have been completely ruined at that point. As it's now a Lexus 1-2 then, with Evil Dragon kicking up a lot of dust down the exit. And let's see, well, what other shenanigans are going to unfold here, as we've seen all sorts of rather uncouth behaviour so far.
We have seen some incredibly wild action so far in this race, and Evil Dragon was trying his best to defend from Optimus Prime there. He is Evil Dragon XXL, of course that's extra large. Apparently his Lexus was not extra large enough, because Optimus Prime found his way through on his own teammate. There does look to be a Lexus war out front, but of course we have MTLA in the background again, and we all know what happened last time MTLA was closing up on 2 ultra shiny Lexus ISFs. And of course there's the added perspective of Mento89 closing in at a rate of knots. So by the end of this one, I think the entire race is going to combust, and it remains to be seen who's going to escape the wreckage.
Yeah, Mento faster by 1.5 seconds there on that last lap there, putting up a 59.0, which is by far the fastest lap we've seen so far. So now, can he dispatch the Australian quickly enough? And then he's going to have to deal with some very feisty Lexuses for the lead of this one. So he's going to have his wits about him if he wants to get into the lead in a clean and undamaged fashion here.
Yes, that's the key here. You've got to make sure that your car survives and gets through it all in one piece. If anyone can do it, Mento is probably the man.
He certainly is, but he's had some rather fair and easygoing competition from Glenn so far this race. He's been giving him the room. He's going to find himself against some people now who really don't want to give him the room. So, as I say, he has to do this carefully, but he's got the pace certainly to do as easily as we see. One of the Lexus kicking up a lot of dust there, and the Mustang just plain slow for the Schumacher chicane there, and Mento's going to pounce on the brakes here. Hopefully, if he can keep it. Yep, he's got it into the apex. Doesn't spin off this time, and quite easily dispatches of the Ford Mustang there. So one of them's easy peasy for him. Now will come the hard bit, I suspect.
Yes, well, MTLA putting a bit more caution in his strategy there when he saw the smoke and dust screen. And Memto89 just kept his foot in it, which was obviously to his advantage, and he now has to try and get his way past Evil Dragon. I think that Lexus is about to be extra large once again, and the Lexus, just watch it into this first corner. It doesn't seem like a stable car under braking, also under acceleration, so if you watch the car here, as he applies the brakes, which should be any time now, the car skating just a little bit there. You can see that Evil Dragon is having to overcompensate, and that's allowing Memto89 into second place. So that's Optimus Prime's security team, as it were, really not managing to keep the attacker at bay. And this means that Memto89 can now go off in pursuit of Optimus Prime if he can just shake off the Evil Dragon.
Well, the Evil Dragon ran it wide coming out of turn 1 there, used more of the track than he really should have done to try and get the initiative into turn 2. I think there was a bit of nerfing involved there, but Memto dealt with it quite nicely and has gone away unscathed from that one. But he's not shaken off that Lexus just yet, so he tried to be brave at the chicane there to run it around the outside, which was never really going to work off, but he's run it a bit wide here. What's the Lexus going to do in response? He's going to give him a bit of a nerf there, and all over the road they are now, trying to get the line into the corner, so things fast and frantic here at the moment.
Yes, let's call it that for want of a better word. MTLA as well, let's not forget him, will be right behind Evil Dragon, and he may well make an attack, but Evil Dragon has to be careful here, because only so much contact is allowed even in touring car racing. And this is on the verge, let's just say that.
Certainly read the rule book and decided what was in their favour and what wasn't, it seems, at the moment, as they're moving around quite a bit under the braking zones, which is, of course, against the ethic of any racing series, really. You pick a line and you stick to it, really. They're pushing that to the limit. He's annexed second for the moment, but what will the leading Lexus do in its response to this cherry red threat? And now MTLA's got to deal with Evil Dragon if he wants a spot on the podium this afternoon.
Yes, MTLA looking around the outside at turn 1. That's always a very brave manoeuvre. Of course, you have to try and get around the outside of turn 1 for the inside here. At turn 2, at part of the Mercedes-Benz Arena section of the track. And you have to be a very brave and slightly mad type of driver to execute such manoeuvres, especially on a slightly insane Lexus driver.
Yes, and I think he's experienced already in this race, hasn't he? How early these Lexus have to brake. We've seen him close up quite a lot on the braking zones here. Now, what can he do down into the bottom of the circuit here?
He's a notorious late breaker, isn't he?
He certainly is, although I don't think he's quite close enough this time round. Perhaps we'll be looking to give these Lexus a taste of their own medicine and nudge them offline a bit, and then shove them off completely. Because up front we see Memto closing in ever more to the back of Optimus Prime at the moment. Both cars cleaning through the Schumacher chicane there, as fun will begin now as they race down towards that final chicane, which has caused so many problems in this race thus far. And interested to see now if Memto's latched onto the back of Optimus. I think he has now. There's not much in it. Yeah, he's right on the back of the American now as they go down towards that chicane. No, he's close enough to go there, but let's see what they do over the curbs. Once again, MTLA, as I think of it, but not close enough once again. Looking to get the drive off this one, which he's dropped back a little bit, but if he can hang it around the final corner nicely, he's going to tuck it in here to get a good line out. No, once again, he's just a lot of understeer building up at the moment in that Mustang, and it's hurting him a bit onto these corners. What's Memto doing now as suspense the black screen, making his way to see what's going on. He's on the back of him, isn't he? He's going to turn 1.
Yes, he is, but he doesn't make it stick. Optimus Prime there, I think, parking on the apex just a little bit, making sure Memto can't take the win away. I think Optimus Prime wants this one quite a lot.
Yeah, we'd be looking for his, I believe it'd be his first win, wouldn't it, in the, it's compromising the exit of turn, but is he shoving Memto off here? That's naughty to say the least here, but Memto's made a sterner stuff than that. I think he's being shoved off wide again though, isn't he? Yes, he is. This is very feisty and aggressive stuff here from the American, and well, let's see how much he wants to lead. He's not exactly playing fair anymore, but Memto's going to have to roll his sleeves up if he's going to take the win this time round. But if he wants to fight dirty, he knows how to do it himself, so perhaps the American get a taste of his own medicine pretty certainly, but
well, I can picture Memto 89 at this point undoing his top button on his shirt, throwing his tie to the floor, screaming a war cry. We are about to see a battle here. Optimus Prime really has messed with the wrong driver, because Memto 89 can play dirty with the best of them if required to do so. He can give back exactly what he takes in, and he's going to favour run of the last chicane there. Will he be able to have yet another good line around the last chicane? That is the focal point for him more than anywhere else.
Well, that was ridiculous from Optimus there. It was weaving all over the show, going down towards that final chicane there, which is just not on at all. So, yeah, he's breaking a lot of rules here as Optimus to try and keep this lead. Memphis is going to have to surprise him somewhere and hope that Optimus doesn't react negatively to it. In the meantime, MTLA has taken third place off. In fact, Evil Dragon's dropped down to 6th position here, so I don't know what happened to him there. There's one criminal Lexus out of the way. This one's proving a bit more stubborn and feisty though, and a bit too aggressive for Memto's liking. Now, he's run it wide though. What's Memto going to do into turn and 5? Oh! There's a
and that's
turn
an big move there. That's definitely a matter of using your elbows. But is it enough? Because there's Optimus Prime doing exactly the same thing, pushing him off onto that turn 4 runoff. An incredible piece of action here. We saw its racing getting well out of the way, and it was wise to do so.
Oh.
But Memto 89 punted off there. Door-to-door action, sending Memto 89 into the grass, onto the curb. There was nothing he could do to keep that in a straight line. He has been looped around, and now the best he can hope for is 2nd position, but he has to get past MTLA to obtain it.
Well, nothing pretty about that, was there? That was just shoving and shoving and shoving it time and time again, and pretty soon the stewards will be having their say on that one. That was pretty illegitimate stuff there from Optimus. So I like to give him a little tap every now and then, but to be constantly shoving someone off like that, and yeah, not good there, not good to see. But Memto, can he recover a P2 at least? That's going to be the question now, as Santu coming into play finally behind Killing Heidi for 4th position here. So there's still a lot to go on over this last lap, but there'll be steam pouring out of Memto's ears after driving like that. That was just...
Is it just me, or is Optimus Prime now picking a fight with its racing? Because that's what I saw on the exit of the final chicane.
Yes, he's picking fights now with lapped traffic. He's clearly getting carried away with this one here. But it's Camaro versus Mustang here, as Memto's frightened MTLA off the apex there, the final corner. He's not got the grunt down the straight though to out-drag that Mustang. He's going to have to do it on the brakes, I think. Yep, here he goes, down the inside. MTLA gives him the room quite nicely, and that is a nice, clean, legitimate pass here. Cut back, not really going to work for MTLA there. And after all that nasty stuff we saw going on for the lead, nice to see a good, clean battle ensue there. So well done MTLA, and well done Memto to show how it's done there. But yeah, I think Optimus will be feeling a rather angry Camaro coming up to him after this one, and tell him exactly what he thought of that one, and there will not be pleasant words, I can assure you of that.
Well, I believe it was 2001 in the DTM Championship. There was a very, very physical last lap of the race, and on the approach to the first corner, after the checkered flag had dropped, I think it was Laurent Aiello decided that he was going to make his thoughts known by spinning the person who won the race, letting him know that his move was extremely illegitimate, and Optimus Prime probably better watch his rearview mirrors after this one, because Memto 89 might have a similar manoeuvre in mind.
Yeah, unfortunately, the game takes away control of your vehicle from you once you've crossed the finish line, so I don't think he's going to be able to do anything about it,
If it didn't do that, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. Killing Heidi, getting out of shape, though, there at the bottom of the hill, or top of the hill even. Santu could have a run at him there to take that 4th position off him going into the last couple of corners here. What's the engine going to be like on the brakes? He's looking for the inside. I think he's going to have this one if he can brake nice and late. No, he's giving away the braking position to Killing Heidi there.
Oh, but he's Killing Heidi's had a big moment there on the final chicane. He's given away 4th place in Optimus Prime. Crosses the line to take the win.
Yes, I'm not sure he'll be able to keep that win though, given that driving etiquette. But perhaps he can enjoy it for the next few minutes until the stewards wrangle him for that one. Memto, he got punted off twice, did he not? And great recovery drive nonetheless there from Memto. And the first and the second, something to do with his championship hopes. Quite a lot of good. MTLA, 3rd position after a solid drive once again. Santu, after 2 nightmarish first races, a solid 4th place there. Pretty good result. Killing Heidi, again solid. Evil Dragon, the accomplice really in the Lexus heist of driving standards in this race. Getting knocked down towards the back of the field there. And it's racing. I believe he's still on his final lap, isn't he? Yeah, he's a nightmare of things going on here, and it's always be interesting for him trying to get around cars which are no longer controlled by their drivers. It's now the game which pilots him around at a set speed, so he's got to be careful. It's going to be out of his control. Yes, even he gives Optimus a little punt there out of revenge, so nobody happy with the American, it seems, after today's race.
No, so that's a great deal of controversy, a great deal of action from the Nurburgring. It remains to be seen whether the results we have witnessed will be the results that end up in the final standings. But provisionally, it's 2 wins for Memto89 and a 3rd win for Optimus Prime. That one's obviously the one under most question. But it has been a very interesting weekend of action here at the Nurburgring for the Core Australian V8 Supercars Championship. If this was not online racing, there would be some hefty repair bills. Fortunately, this is just a video game, so they'll be able to change the oil and simply regenerate their cars through the joys of technology.
Yes, and they're all ready for the next race. But 2 very distinct types of races there. First 2 very clean, and then, well, make up your own minds what you thought of the final race there. Didn't exactly impress us a lot in the commentary box, some of the standards we saw going on there, but it's how people learn, really. Perhaps they'll get a stirred talking to and change their ways next time round. Perhaps it was just the excitement of fighting for the lead sort of took over the guys there. So let's hope we don't see that kind of behaviour once again from them. But a good job from Memto, though, under the circumstances. So, a good weekend for him nonetheless.
Indeed, a good weekend of action from the Nurburgring, as we've said. Memto89 definitely the driver of the race, purely because his performances were only really halted by external people from cars that weren't under his control, obviously. So every piece of input he had was as good as it could have been. He really did deserve 3 straight race wins there. But some over-defensive driving costing him that 3rd victory. It remains to be seen whether Optimus Prime will be allowed to keep it. If he doesn't, then Memto89 can expect to inherit it. But that's a story for the stewards to look into. For now, we can only present you with the information we have, and as we have presented to you. But for now, from me, Adam Weller, and from Tom Chorley, it's goodbye from the Nurburgring, a circuit laced in controversy.
Goodbye, everyone.